The mental shift that'll make you millions. My entire life, I obsessed over figuring out how to make money and figuring out how to make money quickly. My entire life, I was trying to chase the money and I could never get it. And then that's when I realized that it's kind of like a dog that chases a car. When the car is faster than the dog is never going to chase it until it becomes a faster dog, until it becomes a more raw, improved, focused, hungry, aggressive version of itself, which is really just settling into its natural potential and settling into its natural instinct. Self-improvement, everything changed for me when I realized that self-improvement is not really about building yourself into something more as much as it is about settling into your natural instinct and into your natural potential. And there's 3 specific things that were responsible for me 10xing my income within a matter of months. I'm talking like 30 days, right? And then from there, sustaining that. There's 3 things that I can attribute. So we're gonna talk about the first one. So the first one really is aggressiveness. So there's a gentleman named Ray Dalio who runs one of the biggest hedge funds in the world. And Ray Dalio said, you're not going to make money if you're not aggressive, and you're not going to keep money if you're not defensive. And that's the truest thing in the world. Part of the reason why I had such a difficult time making money was because I was neutralized. It's like I had my nuts snipped when I was working a 9 to 5. Because in a 9 to 5, you don't really have to be aggressive. You are employed. Nowadays, it's hard to fire people unless you really mess up. So you're part of this system, right? And the system has all these different parts to it that allow you to ride on cruise control and still get your bi-weekly paycheck. For example, you know when you have to wake up, you know when you're allowed to leave work, you know when you can take lunch. All the systems are made for you. The people you're interacting with have already been handpicked. It's not like you got to go recruit your own teammates or whatever it is. Like, everything is set up for you so that you don't have to worry about being in survival mode. You just have to worry about doing the specific task or set of tasks that were set up for you. And so it takes away the aggressiveness that you would then need to survive in the business world as an entrepreneur. So aggressiveness is in the same breath as a sense of urgency. And I remember when I quit my job the first time and I tried to start a business and it failed. Did that again and again. On the 4th time it ended up working, but what was different with that 4th time and the rest of the 3? Well, the 4th time it was all or nothing. I burned the boats and I was like, I have to do this. I was looking around, I was like 26, 27 at the time. I was like, there's absolutely no reason someone as talented as me is not making $10,000 a month. This is what I was telling myself. And so it became like a standard thing. And you'll start to understand, if you don't already, that we make money to the level of our standards for ourselves. If your standard is $5,000 a month, that's what you're going to stay at, and you're never going to surpass that. You might think your standard is $10,000, but look at what you actually allow yourself to get away with. That'll be the perfect reflection of where your standards really are. And so people who make money just never allow themselves to turn off the aggression. Now, the aggression is not something that you're born with or born without. It's a muscle that can be trained. A sense of urgency can be trained. It often, unfortunately, starts with us going through something very traumatic, like going broke, or experiencing heartbreak, or witnessing our parents end up in some situation and we're not able to take care of them. I went through all 3 of these things. And I will tell you, if you can find a way, whether it's just being around the right people who have a sense of urgency, or whether you're going through something like hypnotherapy or whatever it is, if you can find a way to ignite your sense of urgency, to turn on that aggression without having to wait for something traumatic, you'll be a lot better off. Because people who have to wait for something traumatic in order to kick themselves into the next gear, those are the people that are subconsciously self-sabotaging, because they're bringing themselves back to this moment of trauma in order to kick themselves up to the next level. And you don't want that. You want to be able to just ride those waves of turbulence, and almost like a surfer does, right? You just ride the wave, surf it, never take anything personally. So aggression and a sense of urgency is probably the single biggest thing that's going to change things for you. It's probably the single biggest thing that's going to change things for you, as it does for most people. Because most people don't realize how much they're on cruise control. They just don't. Until they turn on the aggression and they look back and they admit to themselves that they really weren't working that hard and they didn't really want it that bad. So the question ultimately comes down to, how bad do you want it? Do you want it or do you not? And the good thing is, it's actually really easy to win nowadays. And this will be the common theme of everything I'm saying in this video. It's actually really easy to win because nobody has a sense of urgency anymore. Nobody has a sense of urgency anymore. Especially not in business, especially not in a side gig, whatever it is. Nobody has a sense of urgency anymore. Nobody has that aggression. This is why I'll get on here and I'll start yelling sometimes, because it's like, you gotta become a savage. Like you gotta become aggressive, right? You just have to. There's no other choice. Like, you gotta not let people own your time anymore. You gotta say no to a lot of things. You gotta tell people to just beat it and just keep doing your own thing. And if you can do that, if you become the person who is okay with being hated in that way because you're not available anymore, and not just that, but channel this available energy now into willing your desires into reality, like, that's how aggressive you have to be. If you can do that, then you'll be on your way. But most people just don't know how to turn that on. Or they just don't want to turn it on. That's what it is. People know how to turn it on because survival mode is something we all have as humans, but most people just don't want to turn it on. So aggressiveness / a sense of urgency. Number 2, obsession. Obsession. When we talk about the mental shift that'll make you millions, we have to talk about obsession, because making money, it's all about making money or keeping money. And making money is actually really easy when it becomes the only thing you think about, right? To make money, we need to solve someone's problem. Who do we want to serve? What problem do we want to solve? How do we want to solve it? Like, those should be the only things that are on your mind. Those should be the only things that you're thinking about. When those are the only things that you're thinking about, it actually becomes really easy, because now you're devoting 100% of your brain power to cracking this code, to solving this problem. It's not even a problem, it's a challenge, right? Everybody has their own unique challenge that'll make them millions. I can't tell you exactly how to solve yours. You're going to go through your own journey. But I can help you become the person that's willing to stay in that fight and willing to solve that puzzle, or try and solve that puzzle over and over and over again until it's actually solved. Obsession. And you know what? This goes into my previous point about aggression. Obsession changes things because people are so easily distracted nowadays that focus is a superpower. Obsession and focus are two sides of the same coin. Obsession and focus are two sides of the same coin. And it could look like just being diligent for an hour a day, but you're obsessed. You're obsessed. Within that hour, you are obsessed with making progress. You're obsessed. And the person who is most obsessed with solving the puzzle is going to win. That's going to be the person that solves the puzzle. It's the person who's most obsessed. Look around you right now and just look around you. Right now in your immediate environment, look around you. Open up social media, look at people's stories, look at the comment sections of different posts of your favorite influencers. Just look, and you'll realize how distracted people are. Literally out of 100 people, 99 of them are so distracted. They're pathetically, that's not even a word, but they're pathetically distracted. They're embarrassingly distracted to the point where they can't even help it. And so, what do you think you're going to be able to accomplish in 30 days, in 90 days, in 6 months, if you just maintain a level of focus and obsession over one thing? What do you think is going to happen? It's going to look like you made that quantum leap, but you didn't really do anything special. You just did the things you were supposed to do consistently for a long enough period of time. And part of that is obsession, not just with the task, but with what you're learning. Not just with the money, but obsession with becoming the person that you know gets this money. The version of you that you know gets this money. And it's laughable. When you realize how easy it is, it's laughable, because your entire competition is distracted. So now it's just on you, and it's just a matter of time. It's completely up to you, and if you want to be successful or not. Because nobody is in your way. Nobody is standing in front of you, because they're all too busy standing in front of themselves. So there's nobody out there that can stop you, or who could have ever stopped you. Not your parents, not your siblings, not your friends, not nobody, because they're all distracted. Literally nobody's standing in your way. It's just, do you want to run now? Like, do you want to run to the finish line now? Yes or no? That's it. Do you want to run this marathon? Yes or no? That's it. That's the second thing, obsession. The third thing is patience. And I had to work a long time on patience. Patience is a muscle that, all these things are muscles. Character traits are all muscles. I had to work on patience because as an ambitious person, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate, Of course I want things quickly. I move so fast that I break things. I remember being in kindergarten and my parents would get my weekly kindergarten report card, and it always said Pablo's really good at math or whatever, but he rushes his work so he can go play on the computer, and therefore he makes silly mistakes. Like that carried on into today. But I'd rather be, first of all, I'd rather be aggressive about things than not aggressive. But where I had to make the shift that actually started making me money, and a lot of money, is patience. And realizing that the fastest way to get to where I was trying to get was by moving slowly. The Navy SEALs say slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And everything changed for me when I realized that I didn't have to become the person that needs things instantly. Don't be the person that needs things instantly. If you can make that shift, first of all, it radiates a sign of confidence, because patience is confidence. Oh, you're not always at the front of your seat waiting and begging to see when your thing is gonna show up in your reality or when you're gonna get the money. That exudes a sign of confidence because you know it's gonna happen. You know what you're going for. You know you're gonna get it. You know you're laying one brick after another. The person that comes and lays one brick today, then one brick tomorrow, then one brick the next day, but doesn't miss a day, that person knows what they're doing. And if we're gonna do something, if you're gonna do something, do it properly. I always think of the analogy of a hitman, or like John Wick. John Wick knows that he's gonna do the job. He knows that he's gonna go do the hit. So he takes his time. He opens his gun closet, he finds his favorite weapon, he cleans it, makes sure he knows who he's after, tracks their location, follows them, stalks them, makes sure he does it properly, then he goes to get them, gets the job done. Patience. Be the patient person. In other words, be a professional. Be a professional. A lot of this is about being a professional of your life. Especially in entrepreneurship, this is all about managing yourself. Because you're not going to have your boss to manage you anymore. You're not going to have your boss to manage you anymore. You're not going to have the system. So entrepreneurship, number one, is the greatest act of self-management. Number two, the extent to which you succeed is the extent to which you can manage yourself, to which you understand yourself as your own employee, and the extent to which you can manage yourself as your own boss. Being your own boss is not this easy thing. It's not a business problem. It's not a money problem that you're experiencing. It's a character trait thing. And there are multiple ways to go about fixing these character traits. But the first thing is getting around the right people and consuming the right mental diet like this. And that'll change everything for you. Aggression, obsession / focus, and patience. Those three things, you work on those three things every day. The same way you work on building your biceps by going to the gym, or building your glutes by going to the gym. You work on those things and just focus on those character traits getting better. As you walk that path of going to the gym every day, you'll meet the person that brings the opportunity, or you'll find the best kind of workouts that work for you that will then make you the millions. And I'm speaking metaphorically. Like, you'll find the right business model for you, you'll find the right company for you, so on and so forth. But that doesn't happen so long until you are walking this path. This is all about being a professional.